So you've got the fasting period where there's no food and water. People are generally in one of three phases. So they're either bulking, cutting. What protein do we need? We need something that gets into our system fast. At 9 p.m, I would head to the gym and add supersets in, drop sets in, but again, keep the intensity to a level that you can manage. Now, if I was working a 9 to 5 job, Monday to Friday, then I would definitely train on my days off. So Saturday and Sunday. Fats, vegetables, things like that, we don't want during this time period. What's happening, guys? Welcome to another video. Today we're talking about how to train and eat during Ramadan. Now, if anyone watching doesn't know what Ramadan is, it's a holy month for Muslims around the world where they will fast from sunrise to sunset. So no food, water from sunrise to sunset. And this time here in the UK, the fast is going to start from around 4:30 in the morning all the way till about 8 p.m. So to start with, it's going to be from 4:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. I haven't got the exact times yet. We're still about 2 weeks away from Ramadan at the time of filming this video. But it's going to start from somewhere around 4:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. And during the course of the month, as the days get longer, the fast will get longer as well. So we'll probably end up with something along the lines of starting the fast at 3:30 a.m. all the way to 9 p.m. So effectively, the fast is going to be for about 15.5 hours to 17.5 hours long. And that's going to vary where you are in the world according to when the sun rises and when the sun falls. So in some parts of the world, the fast is going to be about 12 hours long. And in other parts of the world, at the longest, it's probably going to be around 20 hours long, 19 to 20 hours long. 19 to 20 hours long. Okay, so you've got the fasting period where there's no food and water allowed, and then you've got the eating window. And it's kind of similar to intermittent fasting, but obviously fasting during Ramadan is a lot tougher because you're not drinking water. Now, I'm always getting asked how to train and eat during Ramadan, and normally my answer is don't stress. You know, it's a really holy month. You should be concentrating on the religious aspect of the month. Fasting, getting your prayers in, and training is of secondary importance. Having said that, the hardcore people amongst us want to keep the gains. So I'm always getting asked the question, so I'm going to answer it today. So stick around and I'll show you the best way, in my opinion, to eat and train during Ramadan. Now, a lot of it's going to depend on your lifestyle. Are you working a 9 to 5 job? Do you have to do school runs in the morning? Are you doing night shifts? Do you have to go to school, to college, to university? The best approach, if it's possible to fit into your lifestyle, is to flip your days. So make your nights into days, make your days into nights. So you're sleeping during the day and then you're awake during the night. That's the best approach, but obviously the vast majority of people ain't going to be able to do that because of work, because of kids, etc. So what do we do? Now, typically when it comes to eating, people are generally in one of three phases. So they're either bulking, cutting, or they're in a maintenance phase. So let's have a look at each of these now. So when you're bulking, calories in versus calories out, you have to consume more calories than your body needs. And that could be in excess of 3,000 calories for some people, depending on the size of the person. Now, it's going to be very difficult to fit in 3,000 calories in that eating window. It can be done, but it's not the ideal circumstances. Plus the fact that you're not drinking water during the day, so you are going to be very dehydrated as well. So bulking, it can be done, but it's probably not going to be the best way forward. Cutting, again, calories in versus calories out. You need to be in a calorie deficit to cut. And would it be a good idea to cut during Ramadan? Absolutely, it'll be a great idea to cut during Ramadan. You've got a small eating window, you've got a restricted time where you can eat all your food, and it's definitely going to be conducive to cutting. Maintenance, where you're eating maintenance calories, basically means that you're eating enough food to keep you at your current body weight, and that would be another good option. So these two are good options. This one is not so good. And also when it comes to training, when you're bulking, when you're trying to get new muscle, you have to train really hard, really intense, really push yourself during your workouts, and that's simply not going to be possible when you're dehydrated and you've got a restricted eating window. It's going to be tough. Whereas with cutting and maintenance, you can tone down the intensity somewhat and still keep your muscles. It's a lot easier to keep your muscles than it is to build new muscle. So these two options would be great during Ramadan, and bulking is not going to be a very good option at all. Now when it comes to training, what's the best time to train during Ramadan? That's going to be multifactorial. It's going to be person dependent, it's going to be goal dependent, and it's going to be lifestyle dependent. So some people can train with no food in their stomach, no water, and they can push themselves to a reasonable level. But on the other hand, there's people that need some food, need some water, otherwise they start getting dizzy, they start feeling sick. Goal dependent. If your goal is to bulk, then you definitely want some food inside you before you train. Now when it comes to cutting, the best time to train for cutting is when you've got an empty stomach. There's no food in your stomach, the body's going to go to the fat stores for energy and you'll be burning fat. And for maintenance, you can train on an empty stomach, or you can train with 1 meal inside you, 2 meals inside you. Doesn't really make too much difference. Lifestyle is the last one. If you've got long working hours, if you're working from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. every day, then you just got to fit your training in wherever possible. I think the main thing is to stay consistent. So if you're consistently doing something, you're going to the gym, you're doing a workout, whether it's a long workout, a short workout, you're doing something, enough to stimulate your muscles, and you're getting adequate protein in, you're getting your calories in, you're getting your hydration in, and you're getting sleep where you can, then you're going to keep most of your gains. So that's the main thing, consistency. Now ideally, in my opinion, the best time to train is after you're breaking your fast. You've eaten some food, got some calories in, and you've drank plenty of water. That would be a good time to train. Okay guys, so what I'm going to do now is lay out a blueprint of what I would do for a typical person that works 9 till 5 and wants to keep the training going, wants to keep the diet going during Ramadan. Now of course this is going to be different for everybody depending on their lifestyle, depending on their goals, depending on what they want to get out of this, whether they're bulking, they're cutting, etc. But you can tweak what I'm about to show you to fit into your lifestyles, to fit into your goals. So we have been fasting from 4:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. We've had no water, we're dehydrated, we've had no food. So when it comes to breaking our fast at 8 p.m, now traditionally we break our fast with water and dates. And I would stick with that. So straight away I'll have a glass of water and some dates. Now we've had no protein at all. Now we need some protein, but what type of protein do we need? We need something that gets into our system fast. Yeah, so it gets straight in there, starts working straight away. And the ideal time now is to have whey protein. So 1 or even 2 scoops of whey protein is going to give you between 25 to 50 grams of protein. So I'd have 2 scoops of whey protein straight away. Now carbs, we need some carbs for energy, pick ourselves back up. And traditionally, like I said, dates are a good option, but I would add watermelon and banana into that as well. So watermelon, it contains a lot of water first of all, so it's going to rehydrate us as well. And it's got fast releasing carbs. Banana as well is going to release the carbs probably a little bit slower because it's got a bit more fiber in it. And then dates contains a lot of fiber. So the carbs from dates are going to be released into our system a bit slower because of the high fiber content of dates. So that's how I would break the fast. Glass of water, about 3 or 4 dates, 1 or 2 scoops of whey protein and a banana. Wait about 5-10 minutes and then try and get in at least 1 or 2 liters if you can of water. And that's going to really rehydrate you and you're good to go then. Then at 9 p.m, I would head to the gym. So 9 p.m. to 10 p.m, I would have a training session. Now that meal there is not too heavy. It's going to digest pretty quickly. So we'll be able to train without feeling sick. Obviously, if you have a heavy meal there, you're not going to be able to train at 9 p.m. Now, when it comes to training, you're going to have to be smart. You have to listen to your body, see how you're feeling on that day and adjust accordingly. So adjust your volume and your frequency depending on how you feel. If you're feeling fine, maybe you can do the workouts that you were doing previously, but I would reduce the weight a bit. I would always keep in about 2 reps in reserve. So for instance, you've got a weight on the bench press where you've done 10 reps and you feel that you've got 2 or 3 more reps left, stop. Leave it there. There's no need to during Ramadan. You are vulnerable and you are more likely to get injured. So I would keep about 2 reps in reserve. I would definitely keep the heavy compound movements in. But like I said, be sensible about it. If you're deadlifting, then don't go for PRs. Don't go for 1 rep maxes, 3 rep maxes, 5 rep maxes even. I'd keep the reps at a minimum to around 8. Same with squats, same with bench press. Be sensible. If you're short on time because of work commitments, etc., then you can add supersets in, drop sets in, but again, keep the intensity to a level that you can manage. Now, if I was working a 9 to 5 job Monday to Friday, then I would definitely train on my days off. So Saturday and Sunday, make sure I train those 2 days, and then maybe have 1 or 2 days during the week where I get a workout in as well. So 3 or 4 times a week. And with regards to frequency of training, if you're training 5 or 6 times a week at the moment, then during Ramadan you probably will have to cut that down to 3 or 4, maybe maximum 5 times a week. 3 times a week, 4 times a week is going to be the ideal number of training days during Ramadan, in my opinion. Right, you've done your workout, it's 10 o'clock now. Straight away I would have 1 whey protein and again some fast releasing carbs. So maybe a banana, maybe some grapes, watermelon, or what I normally do is I have whey protein with Cocoa Pops, or you could even have whey protein with a scoop of carb powder, some sort of fast digesting carb powder like Vitago. So a scoop of whey protein, scoop of Vitago, so you've got your protein and your carbs at 10 p.m. and whilst you're driving back home or walking back home, your body's getting that protein in, getting that carbs in and getting it digested quick. Right, so you're back home now, it's 10:30 and now I would have a proper solid meal. So chicken, rice, vegetables, nuts. So we want some protein, we want some carbs as before, but this time we want fats. We want fats in because we want to slow down the digestion now. Whereas here, when we opened the fast, we wanted fast protein, fast carbs, no fats. After the workout, I wanted fast protein, fast carbs, but no fats. Because fats slow everything down. Fats slow everything down, vegetables, fiber slows everything down. So fats, vegetables, things like that, we don't want during this time period. But now, this is probably going to be our last meal before we go to bed. So here I would have a source of protein, maybe chicken. Beef would probably be a better option because it's slower digesting than chicken. And some carbs, maybe some rice, maybe some sweet potato, some pasta maybe, and then some healthy fats, avocado, nuts, and I'll add in some vegetables, some spinach, some broccoli. And this meal I would make into a large meal. So at the moment, my typical meals contain about 100 to 150 grams of cooked weight meat, 100 to 150 grams of cooked weight rice, and then about a handful of nuts. That's at the moment, but then during Ramadan I would make that meal twice as large. So instead of 100 to 150 grams of cooked weight meats, I'd have 200 to 300 grams of cooked weight meats, 200 to 300 grams of cooked weight carbs, whether it's rice, pasta, sweet potato, and then I'll have about 40 or 50 nuts or even a whole avocado combined with vegetables. So that's going to be a nice big meal at 10:30. After that I would sleep. Obviously some people will be going to the mosque to read Tarawih. Again, you have to adjust this according to your lifestyle. So after that, 11, half 11, 12, I'd go to bed. Wake up around 4 a.m. to close the fast at 4:30 a.m. And here I would have a nice large solid meal again. Slow digesting proteins, slow digesting carbs, some fats as well, and vegetables. And here, for me, I would probably have something like 4 eggs. Make sure they're whole eggs, so we're getting the fats from the yolks as well. I'd have about 3 or 4 slices of brown bread for the slower releasing carbs. I'll probably add butter onto the bread for some more fats. And I'll probably have a handful of spinach to go along with that as well. So I've got my protein from eggs, I've got my carbs from the bread, I've got my fats from the egg yolks and the butter, and I've got a nice healthy vegetable to go along with it in the form of spinach. And the added fats and the vegetables are going to slow down the digestion of that meal and keep us going throughout the day. If you're not a big fan of eggs, then you can swap it for chicken or for beef. If you're not a big fan of bread, oats is a great option to have in the morning, slow digesting carbs. Fats, if you don't want an avocado, you can have some nuts. If you don't want nuts, you can have something like olive oil, a teaspoon of olive oil, and then any sort of vegetables of choice. And then just before 4:30, just before the fast closes, I would drink as much water as possible. Try and get in at least a litre, maybe even 2 litres of water. You're going to be bloated, you're going to be feeling really uncomfortable, but it has to be done. And that's going to help to keep you hydrated throughout the day. So as much water as possible, try and get in before the fast closes. Then from 4:30 to 7 or 8, whenever you wake up, I'd get some more sleep in. good few hours of sleeping. Very important to get as much sleep as we can. And obviously if you're working from 9 till 5, you know, you got to get ready for work, go to work. When I come back at 5 or 6, I'll try and get an hour's nap in again. So try and get as much sleep as possible wherever I can. A nap here, a nap there is really going to help. And then we wake up 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and then it's time to repeat the whole cycle again. Okay guys, that's the end of the video. Hope you found it informative, hope you found it useful, and I hope you guys implement some of the things that I've suggested here as well. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. The more subscribers I get, the more motivation to make these sorts of videos. Thanks guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.